What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Dror coming at you after a very long hiatus. I hope you all are doing well. I apologize. It has been quite some time since I have done one of these replay analytics. I do have a good reason for it. I was at university gaining, or just, well, right now I'm finishing a degree in ancient history. Because my goal is to actually become a military historian. So, I had to go work towards earning that, and that took up most of my time. But now, I'm on a little bit of a break, so I thought it's time to get back into AoE3. It's time to get back into this series and rejuvenate it. So I hope you all can forgive me for the delay in this next video. It has been a few months. I do sincerely apologize. Please forgive me. But we are back, and we are better than ever. We have upgraded the look of the game. By that I mean my PC. We have upgraded the microphone, so we have better sound. We now are playing on the latest patch, so we can use this wonderful UI for these replays. So everything is a little bit better and improved, so I hope that you enjoy those new features. But with all that out of the way, let's get into this game. Now, I must admit, this is not a recorded game that was sent in to me. This is a game that I picked after combing through numerous games. And it was a Dutch mirror, and it's played on 4.0, which is one of the most recent patches to ESOC. And it was compatible with the AI, and it's on a map that I have come to really adore, and that being the Alaska map. So I decided to do this. This is between Marco1698, who is in the red playing as the Dutch, and Magic, who is in the north of the map playing in the blue as the Dutch. It is a Dutch mirror. For those of you who don't know, Dutch is my favorite civ, although I cannot play them very well. It's kind of a running joke in the community that while I am a caster, I am not very good at the game itself. I'm terrible at micro, but I have watched a lot of this game. I've watched a lot of the best players in the world play it, and I like to think that I have an adequate amount of knowledge. But it looks like Marco1698 is going to pick up 90 coin. Huge for him. Now, usually, coin treasures are usually passed up for food or wood treasures, but being the Dutch, it is certainly a very good treasure, seeing as the settlers cost coin, and most of the Dutch units cost coin. We do have a treasure contention here in the middle of the map. Looks like Swee's gonna pick up that 120 XP. That's gonna be great for him. So it's gonna be interesting. We do have a Dutch mirror. And by the way, Marco1698 and Sweet Magic, thank you for posting this on ESO-community.net. I hope you don't mind me looking at it, casting it, and giving my feedback. Yes, I hope you guys don't mind. I think you both are very good players, and that's why I chose your game. But looks like we just have a standard just one house from both players. Looks like they're saving that 100 wood for the first bank in transition. I like how both of them have left the wood on the floor. Now, a lot of people make the mistake, myself included, of gathering that wood right away, but you waste time because you could be gathering food in that time, therefore speeding up your age up. So very good job by both of these players. Looks like both are going to send the 3 settlers. Let's go to the shipment sent. Sweet has gotten his first shipment in already, although Marco1698 has not. But he is sending it, but that 120 XP for Sweet definitely means that those 3 settlers are coming out faster, gonna make that age up time faster, and it really depends on how Marco spends that 90 coin, in which we determine which of those is better. Looks like there's 110 wood treasure here, guarded by 2 cougars, and it looks like Sweet, his explorer, is going to be able to crack shot one of those and tank the other if he's able to kite it. And 110 wood would be huge for the Dutch player. I mean, it's a good treasure for any civilization, but to have that going into the transition, to have that for your bank would be huge. But Marco1698 here is going to come down. He is going to be able to get that in time. There might be a treasure contention here. 110 wood, this is huge, especially as both players are starting to get up to the second age. And it looks like, oh, who's going to get it? And it looks like Sweet is going to get on top of it, which is good. He is the one who put in the effort to get the treasure. But that means he is going to have that extra wood. Going to be huge for him. Although his Explorer is going to take some damage. But he's keeping his Envoy close, making sure. Great job by Sweet. Now, what a lot of players do is that they often tend to forget about the other Explorer roaming the map. So they'll just take out the Explorer and then just kind of lazily put him on the treasure. But I like how when he knew the Cougar was on low health, he went and put him right next to the location of the treasure, therefore making sure that if a treasure contention did happen, which it did, he would be able to get on top of that treasure. Is going to lose this Explorer here, which is going to mean 45 XP for Marco, but still, to get that 110 wood, well worth it. So let's look at the herding here for both players. I will say that this house placement by Marco is a little obscure. I would have rather he put it around here by the tree line. It would have served as a good wall. Another reason I love Alaska for the Dutch is you have these little clumps of trees which serve as excellent walling. The Dutch tend to be more of a defensive civilization overall. And again, I don't love this bank placement. I'd rather he put it a little farther out where it's still in range of the town center, but it offers a little bit more protection. It'd be easier to gather in these hunts. But that is a pretty minor thing. Both players doing a pretty good job. I like this placement of the bank here by Sweet. Putting it right up against that tree line. Going to make sure that his hunt here is well protected. And both players just about to go up to the second age. And it looks like Marco's going to send the 700 wood, which is good. No text completed other than the age up and no text being researched. Both players continuing to make villagers. Both went up with the quartermaster, the 400 wood, which is to be expected. The 700 wood for Marco 198 or 1698, and the same for Sweet. So both going with the 700 wood. Probably going to follow that up with the bank wagon. That is pretty typical of the Dutch. But Marco's scout getting a little too close in here. Going to take some town center damage. It looks like bank going up in the back here. I don't know if I really agree with that placement by Sweet. I would much rather his bank be up front here. Because, I mean, he's not really protecting much back here. Yes, he does have this one hunt. But I'd rather it be up here, serving as a wall from potential cav raids. Good bank placement right here by Marco. Market placement is decent. It is out of range of his town center, so that could prove to be a problem. But he is putting it right next to these trees, so there is something. Another bank going up here. I don't love this placement simply because it blocks off a part of his coin mine, so it means that once he gets a lot of villagers on there, he's not going to be able to get as many villagers on there as he might have, and it is going to mean that some of his villagers might get clogged up if Hussar get jammed up in there. Nice stable going up here from Sweet, putting it there, and I don't think, let's see, let's put on the Fog of War. I don't think Marco has not seen that stable yet, so still keeping it a surprise. A third bank going up for Sweet, pretty good location here. He has left room for his villagers. And the house, I like how both players are starting to wall off, using the trees to their advantage. A fourth bank going up for Marco, but no military building going down yet. And with this stable already up, and I'm guessing some Hussar are probably being produced. Yes, some Hussar are in production for Marco, or for Sweet. And no building yet down for Marco. He does have the 4 banks, so if he is able to hold on to the pressure, he might get a little bit of an advantage, but the 4th bank already going down for Sweet. So Sweet's build being a little more efficient here, getting down the military building much sooner. Shooting the herd away, which is a little bit of a problem. Although I will say Marco has done a good job keeping his villagers in this little box here. So potential cav rates are going to be diminished a little bit, but then again, Sweet has done the same thing. Economic population is staying the same. The score is in favor of Marco. I'm guessing that's because he's had that bank up a little bit sooner. And, oh, I forgot. He does have the market. Oh, goodness. I totally forgot about that. What does he have in the market? Okay, so he does have the hunting dogs, and he is getting the coin upgrades. So, what I said earlier about his being a little less efficient, this changes with the market, because with the market being there and with those 2 upgrades, if he can hold off this initial pressure, the 5 Hussar are coming in. If he can hold off this initial pressure and he set the 600 wood, this economic build may turn out to be the better build. But we are seeing some raiding. Good job by Sui making his opponent garrison the villagers. Is going to lose that native scout most likely. But he did not lose any villagers. Nice job by Marco there, getting some nice micro. But 4 more Hussar coming out, so we're not just going to see a generic 5 Hussar semi-FF. We are seeing a full-on Hussar rush. But one thing that is wrong with Sui right now is he does have the Native American scout running with his Hussar, which means his Hussar are going to be slower. Probably wants to take those off and not have those being controlled. There you go. Sui was able to capture a villager there. Starting to siege that town center. Doesn't want to do that. You definitely don't want to be sitting under the town center fire. And with the militia coming out, and that is not going to be good for Sui. This was definitely not a good idea for him to sit under that town center. Going to get his Hussar out of there, but is going to take a lot of damage. Really for no benefit, as seeing as he, Hussar definitely can't take down a TC. But a pretty minor thing. Another bank going up. This is going to be his 5th bank. I'd like to see him get down a market. He does have some idle vills here. Needs to get those going. But is starting to run out of food in his base. He needs to bring in some of these hunts down here. What does Marco look like? Marco also running out of hunts, and ooh, a big Hussar raid. The Minutemen aren't going to really be able to provide that much. What shipments are being sent right now? It doesn't look like, I don't see any shipments being sent. Marco's not sending anything. 2 barracks and a stable going up, but going to lose a bunch of villagers here. And the economic population is now, it's now 24 to 18, and he's going to lose this barracks, and definitely not looking good for Marco. He's going to lose all of these military buildings. That's 600 wood put down into these military buildings. And while he's not going to, he's going to put some damage on these Hussar, but definitely losing a lot of infrastructure here. And losing all of those villagers means that he is going to be down. And plus, he does have the 5 banks out now, but so does Sui. And Sui's villagers have not been under pressure, although he does have some idle vills, and he is low on food in his base. So Sui definitely needs to gather in those hunts, but is going to take out one of those barracks, or the stable, and going to try to raid some of the villagers. Looks like he's going to get, nope, he's going to lose Hussar, but he's keeping these villagers penned up, doing an excellent job. Yeah, don't be sieging this town center. Go and finish off this barracks. But he is doing an excellent job keeping the villagers pent up. And Marco just doesn't have the ability to get any kind of military out. Although he is into the Fortress Age. But then again, Sui is getting the resources to be close to the Fortress Age. The 9 Reuter are going to come out, which are going to clean up these Hussar. But I think the damage has already been done. Sui has gotten villager kills. He now has a 26-18, 26-19 villager lead. He's almost up to the Fortress Age. He's clicked up. He has a shipment waiting for him. And he has better infrastructure than Marco. And out the Reuters are going to pop now. They're going to come right on top of these Hussar, which is going to be good, but they don't want to get caught in melee with these Hussar units. Nice job. That is a really excellent job by Marco. Look at how he flagged them on the opposite side of the town center away from the Hussar, meaning that they wouldn't get caught in melee with these cav units. Excellent job by Marco. Even though he's down, still using that micro. And those small decisions make up a huge difference. Now, the market finally going down for Sui. The market has been down for Marco, so he does have that working in his favor. But the fact that he lost so much villager time, and he's going to be very aggressive with these Reuters here. Although, it can be said that Sui is now up to the Fortress Age. And he is sending 8 skirm to deal with these Reuter. Gonna look like he might go for a skirm husk composition. Gonna take out that envoy. Nice job. Is gonna get those. Is gonna try to snare those Reuters, which is good. The Reuters going to try to kite, but they are going to take some unnecessary damage. Maybe being a little too aggressive with those Reuters. More Hussar coming out. And with the 8 skirm, I'd like to see him put down a barracks and really start pumping out the skirms. But a stable going down for Marco, and he already does have the barracks, although he has almost no food in his base. And this food out here is pretty exposed. He still is down 6 villagers. Gonna get out some houses now as to not get popped. But looks like he might have gotten a villager kill there, but is going to lose a couple of Reuters to those skirms. And where are the Hussar right now? The Hussar, look at this big mass of Hussar by Suisui. And overall, Suisui has just been very good with his build order. Looks like he might lose a Vil here, though. That Vil looked like it was trying to get in that forward hunt. But it looks like Suisui's build order overall has been a little bit better. I think Marco definitely had the right idea. I think he bit off a little more than he could chew. Tried to be a little too greedy with his economic build, going with the market right away and the 4 banks. And as a result, really suffered from that Hussar raiding. You know, had to use his Minutemen, and then once his Minutemen died, there was nothing to protect his villagers until he could scramble up to the Fortress Age. And with the Dutch, it really is a pro versus con ordeal with the Dutch, because you have to decide, you know, is getting up to the Fortress Age worth it? And how much are you going to lose getting up to that Fortress Age? 8 skirmishers are out for Marco, so his composition is better, but look at the composition of Suisui here. He has all of these Hussar, and I think once he gets that upgrade, I'd like to see him get the Hussar upgrade, but once he gets, and he's got some Reuters coming out, along with more skirms, along with the 7 skirms, so I think as soon as he gets this huge batch of 12 skirms coming, I think he is really going to be able to push out. He just simply has the better unit composition. He has the Hussar to deal with these skirmishers, and plus the skirmishers to deal with those Reuters, and Reuters in case Marco does make any Hussar. So very nice job by Suisui. I think overall he's done very well. Not saying Marco hasn't done well. He's certainly had a pretty efficient build order. Just tried to take a gamble with the economic build and was not able to make it pay off as much as he wanted to. I think if Suisui had just gone for a simple 5 Hussar semi-FF and haven't followed it up with more Hussar, I think Marco would have been in a much better position. But right now, it's still a 6 villager lead for Suisui, and with the recalculated, it's 51 to 44. And this army is moving down the map. Now, these Hussar are not upgraded yet, which I would like to see those Hussar get upgraded. But more skirmishers coming out from Marco. So, and there come out the Reuters. Going to lose a couple of Reuters there. Not the best for him, but still hasn't shown his Hussar batch. And yeah, I'd really like to see those Hussar get upgraded. He has the wood. He has the coal. Well, no, he doesn't have the wood. Looks like the veteran Hussar upgrade is coming out for Marco, although he does have a few Hussar. And now it just becomes a matter of who can kite their skirmishers better and who can kite the Reuters against the Hussar and the Hussar against the skirmishers. 9 Reuters coming out for Suisui. He has not used that shipment yet, which means it's going to be very good for him. But not a lot of food in Suisui's base at all. He has a couple of these moose. Yeah, not a lot of food in either of the players' bases. Both are looking to move out. They need to fight for this center of the map where these hunts are. And these coin mines. But it looks like he's going to push up with these skirmishers and these veteran Hussar. Still no veteran Hussar upgrade from Suisui. He really needs to get those veteran Hussar. And it looks like we're finally going to have a confrontation here. The veteran Hussar are going to try to get in. They're going to get on top of the skirmishers and get some good damage and tank some damage from the skirmishers. But the Hussar are going to come in onto the red skirmishers. But in come the Reuters. And nice job by Marco protecting his skirmishers. But the last of the Hussar are going to go down for Marco. But he has been able to take a lot of damage. And this big Hussar batch, they are not up to the veteran upgrade. So they're not going to be able to take out as many skirms. But the sheer number of Suisui's force is going to be able to counter that. And right now it's looking fairly even. But look at this 9 Reuter shipment coming in. And it looks like a pretty decent trade-off there for both players, but I certainly think if Suisui had gone in with the veteran Hussar upgrade, he would have been able to take that fight and would have been able to win that fight almost decisively. You know, the veteran Hussar upgrade makes so much of a difference. But nice micro by Marco, able to get on top of those Hussar with those Reuters, and since It was second age Hussar versus third age Reuters. They were able to melt pretty quickly. But these skirmishers are going to try to pick off these villagers. These villagers are pretty exposed, but able to get back in time. Only going to lose one vill. And these skirmishers are pretty exposed. The Reuters have gone off to raid elsewhere. Luckily for Marco, there are no Hussar for Suisui, or else that would have been a really bad ordeal. But the Reuter count is certainly in Suisui's favor, and the economic unit is still a 5-villager lead for Suisui. Let's look at the techs. Both have similar upgrades, but still no veteran upgrade for the Hussar, but neither of them have Hussar at this point. It looks like it's just going to be Skirm Reuter. And nice job by Suisui, able to kite and use these houses to kind of block from the cav. Both need to get their Reuters into the fight here to tank a little bit. And more Reuters coming out. And right now, Suisui definitely has the advantage, bringing out the Minutemen as well. And I think he might be able to take this fight definitively. Yeah, the skirmisher numbers are going down for Marco. And it's now 53 to 37 military unit population. Getting those Minutemen in there. And, oh goodness, this looks like it's going to be a hard fight for Marco now. Especially since the infantry combat is coming in for Suisui. And I think if I were Suisui, I would continue to push up this map. You have the military advantage. Although Marco was able to rebound pretty quickly, getting out more skirmishers. But look at the bases. They are empty of villagers. Look at all of these villagers out here. And especially out here, I think the first person to go on a raid with 5 Hussar is really going to be able to swing this fight definitively, especially since a lot of these villagers are not very well protected. But it looks like both players are continuing to just mass up Skirm and Reuter. I'd like to see one of them mix some Hussar. I think it would be really good for both players. Now, we do have to remember that Suisui does have that infantry combat, which I don't believe... No. Marco does not have the infantry combat. And it looks like Marco's going to send the 1,000 food. Not a very efficient shipment, but it could mean that we are going to see a big batch of Hussar come out. Usually the 1,000 food is for either aging up or funding a lot of cavalry, which I don't expect Marco to age up. I certainly don't think aging up would be the correct move at this point. But it looks like Marco's going to try to poke out again and see what he can find. Both armies, once again, pretty much on equal footing now. But, yeah, we're not seeing any Hussar come out from either of these players. And I really think that one of these players has to mix in some Hussar with their army. But nothing coming out quite yet. Many shipments. And look at this, a batch of 10 Hussar. Finally, 10 Hussar are going to come out from Marco, and this is going to be big, especially since they still have the veteran upgrade. If he's able to get him in there, look at him sneaking him around. Although he is taking some damage. Going to get them on top of the skirmishers. Going to try to bring them from around the back as well. There are quite a few blue Reuters here. And it looks like the skirmishers, and it looks like nice job by Suisui getting on top of those Hussar, but they are going to be able to tank some damage. The skirmishers going to be able to fire freely into the back line. But it just looks like there were too many blue Reuters here. And once again, the numbers for Suisui are paying dividends. And it looks like blue has once again won definitively, even though he was able to get out 10 Hussar and 8 Halberdiers coming out for Suisui. Not a very good shipment at all. I would almost, with the composition that he has, I would almost prefer him to send 1,000 food and make Hussar of his own. Looks like more Hussar are going to come out, but the Reuter count for Suisui has been diminished quite a bit. And they're going to pop right out of this stable. So maybe the 8 Hussar are going to be able to do something, but it's going to take them a while to get all the way across the map. The Reuters are coming in. The skirmishers not coming with the Hussars, so they're not going to be able to back up those Hussars against the Reuters. Now they are finally getting into the fight. And look at these Halberdiers. Are these Halberdiers? Where are they even? Oh, is he going to do a Halbraid? Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we might be seeing a Halbraid. And, oh, that's going to be the end of the game. So it looks like Marco decided to resign. And I don't blame him. I mean, he's on berries. He's moving out. He probably, you know, we have a 8 Halb raid coming in.
Hello.
Which, you know, you don't usually raid with Halbs, but I think Marco finally knew that he was just drained of resources. But wow, a really excellent Dutch mirror from both players. I enjoyed this game substantially. If I had to say something to the players, now I know they didn't send me in the recording, so I don't want to be too harsh. I think they both have a good grasp of what Dutch is, but just from my knowledge of watching a lot of people play Dutch, not necessarily my own skill, I would say that for Sweet Sweet Magic, I would say get that Hussar upgrade earlier and get more Hussar out. You had the right idea at the beginning of the game. You had a good composition of Hussar, Reuter, and then Skirm, but after you lost that initial batch, you kind of just stopped making Hussar. And while you won the game, I think if you had had Hussar in your mix earlier, maybe have gotten up a couple more military buildings, maybe another stable, it would have been easier for you to win those big fights. Marco, I really liked your military micro, using your Reuters to protect from that initial fight with the Hussar, and getting that veteran Hussar upgrade. I think you tried to utilize that to the best of your ability. What I think did it for you in the end was the initial build order. I think you were a little too greedy with your economics, going for the market and the 4th bank, and then eventually the 5th bank. I think if you had tried to make cavalry right away, rather than go for the market upgrades, I think you would have been able to better defend against the cavalry pressure and would have been in a better spot. And you wouldn't have been in the villager deficit for as long as you were. Because overall, it seemed like your micro was a little bit better, although Sui Sui's overall build order was just a little bit more efficient in this particular situation. And at the end of the day, he was just able to control more resources and control more of the map, and you were just eventually starved out. But both players played an excellent game, in my opinion. Both played well. If you guys enjoyed this game, please comment down below. Tell me what I could do better, what my casting could do better. I hope you enjoyed having the UI and having the better audio and video quality. But if you guys want to send me one of your recordings and have it casted on the ESOC channel, just send it to me in the replayed games section of eso-community.net. You'll see the thread that I posted. It's called Dror Replay Analytics Are Back. Just post a recorded game in that, and I will download it and look at it and cast it. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I once again apologize for the long hiatus, but we are back. So with all of that said, thank you guys, and I will see you next time. Dror out.